Today on Houston Politics, I want to talk about the Woodlands versus Sugarland. Outside of the inner city of Houston, there's really only two suburbs that really compete in being good master plan communities, and both have a lot of good assets. But unfortunately for Sugarland, although Sugarland does a lot of things better than most suburbs in America, the Woodlands just ends up doing a lot better than Sugarland. Sugarland has lots of parks, good schools, an urban town center, a First Colony Mall, shopping area. It's got good services, low crime, and one benefit that it has over the Woodlands is that it is closer to the center of Houston and closer to where a lot of the jobs of Houston are. The Woodlands has all the things that I just stated Sugarland has except for closeness to Houston, and it also has closeness to Bush Intercontinental Airport. But the Woodlands just takes the whole master plan community concept to another level. The Woodlands is built in a dense section of pine trees. Both the Woodlands and Sugarland preserve their trees, but Sugarland is oak trees and the Woodlands is dense pine trees, and the dense tree infill makes the Woodlands appear a lot greener. The Woodlands has bike paths across the entire city that almost anybody in the Woodlands who lives in the Woodlands limits can access. It also has a better urban area than Sugarland with the Woodlands Waterway, which is like the San Antonio River Walk, the Woodlands version of the San Antonio River Walk, Market Street, which Market Street alone and the Woodlands Mall alone is about just as good as the Sugarland Town Center, and then on top of that, the Woodlands has not only the Woodlands Waterway, but the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilions, of which most concerts that come to Houston, musical concerts, they usually go to the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, and a lot of Sugarland residents going to the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. Both cities have lots of parks, both cities have good schools, both cities are safe, but the Woodlands is just a little bit ahead of Sugarland. And there's a lot of people who don't know of the Woodlands because Sugarland is more popular for being closer to the center of Houston. It's more well known. The Woodlands is 30 miles north of Houston and is not as well known, although that has been changing in recent years as the Woodlands brings in a lot of tourism from people around Houston, not only for the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, but for its urban area, for its Woodlands Waterway. You'll be amazed because I've lived in the Woodlands for a long time, and I've lived in the Woodlands when it was much smaller, and nobody thought of it as an edge city of Houston. But now, not only is it an edge city of Houston, home world headquarters of Anadarko, Exxon is moving a lot of employees there. It's also a tourist attraction, and you'll walk the Woodlands Waterway, and you'll walk Market Street, and you'll hear all these different languages, Spanish languages, Asian languages, European languages, Russia. It's amazing. And that's because the Woodlands is starting to attract tourism, and the Woodlands is really a great benefit to Houston. And if I were to forget about the Woodlands versus Sugarland, I'd have to say that the Woodlands is probably the best neighborhood in Houston, just for how well organized it is. Where do I want to live the most? I want to live in downtown Houston. I'm an urban city guy. But if you're not an urban city guy, well, actually, if you are an urban city guy, the Woodlands has a place for you. You can live on the Woodlands Waterway, or you can live in East Shore, which is another residential urban area. And there's also mid-rise residential areas in the town center nearby the Woodlands Waterway, residential projects. The Woodlands is just the best suburb in Houston, and Sugarland is the second best suburb in Houston. Sugarland has a lot to offer, but unfortunately for Sugarland, the Woodlands just has a little bit more. That's it for this episode of Houston Politics. I'll see you next time.